There is incredible news. It is June 2nd, 2025, and Trent Williams is still on the 49ers. I didn't know if this would happen. He hasn't retired. He hasn't gotten traded. This is great. This seems like he might actually play for the 49ers this year. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's funny because I read something the other day about maybe him being traded to the Texans, and I'll say this. I saw the video of him in Houston at the gym, and he just didn't look like he's worked out at all. I mean, he has a gigantic boiler. He just doesn't look like he's worked out at all. I mean, he's the greatest tackle of his generation, but I don't know what he's done this offseason, but I mean, he just didn't look like he owns a gym, and supposedly he works out really hard in that gym, but he looked like a guy, just like a guy with a boiler. He didn't seem like he was in anything approaching training camp condition.
No, he kind of seems like a guy who's lost his fire to play football, but he's the best and he can still make a lot of money. And the Niners are probably begging him to play. And he's like, I don't think he just seems like a guy who hasn't made up his mind yet. When I see him with my own two eyes, I'll believe it. But you're right. That clip that surfaced last week really showed a guy who hasn't seemingly done much work. But then again, I don't think he did much work last off season either. And maybe that's not a great thing anymore at 37 years old. I mean, he's not so great in the fourth quarter. He doesn't play 17 games anymore. He's kind of a mercenary for a team that's right on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl. I don't know if he's the best fit for the 49ers. That being said, you don't want Spencer Burford protecting Brock Purdy's blind side. So what are their choices?
This is like the Achilles heel of the team. It really is. I mean, you have the best left tackle in the game, but he's 37, coming off a season where he didn't play very much. And not only is he your best player, his backup is somebody named Andre Dillard, who didn't even show up at minicamp the other day or at OTAs the other day. And I don't know where he was. I'll say this.
Extension. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Nicholas Petit Frere is Nicholas Petit Impact. I mean, that guy is not going to make the team. I can literally tell you that from watching one off-season practice. That's how knowledgeable I am. I mean, I'm joking, of course, but I mean, this guy looked horrible. I don't think I've ever seen anybody look as bad as Nicholas Petit Frere looked in this last minicamp. He was limping his way back to the huddle after every rep. He doesn't look like he's healthy. He's got no strength, no anchor ability. He's a tall guy with long arms, but I mean, he has no chance to beat out Austin Pleasance. I thought Austin Pleasance looked really good, but it was supposed to be DJ Humphries, Andre Dillard, Nicholas Petit Frere, Austin Pleasance, and now DJ Humphries' deal fell apart. Dillard didn't show up at minicamp. Petit Frere looked horrible. Trust me when I say that. So it looks like Austin Pleasance may have a pretty good route to a position right now. So I mean, I would say offensive tackle is easily the biggest concern going into the year because Trent is old and coming off a bad year. McKivitz is a replacement level, and their third tackle, is not going to be much of a competition because the rest of those guys outside of Pleasance don't look very good at all.
Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now. It's interesting that the Niners invested and gave the big stamp of approval to Purdy after a 6-11 season. So to me, that says they don't blame Purdy for the season. If someone's getting blamed for it, it's Kyle. And if Purdy has another down season where he doesn't make the playoffs or his numbers aren't great, it'll be so easy to again point the finger at Kyle and be like, what is this offensive line that you're giving Brock Purdy? How can we really assess Brock until you've given him the type of situation that the Lions have given Jared Goff or that the Bears are trying to give Caleb Williams? So this is a very dangerous position for Kyle because if he gets hurt, if he gets sacked a lot, it's on Kyle. It's not on Brock. It's on Lynch too.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, you're going to have a $265 million quarterback, and you're going to have basically no, it's like having a brand new mansion in Pacific Heights and you just don't want to have a front door and you don't want to have a security system. Well, it's like, okay, I mean, you got a beautiful mansion, but with no front door and no security system, it's just a matter of time before, somebody's walking through that front door that's wide open. And it's same thing with the Niners. I mean, you have Brock behind Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz. You're a Trent Williams quad injury, and Colton McKivitz, suddenly pulls a hammy, and you're staring at Andre Dillard and Austin Pleasance protecting your franchise quarterback. So I mean, they acted in the draft like they just kind of sort of needed some offensive linemen, and if they didn't find guys that they liked, well, then we're just not going to take them. Where Philly, by comparison, has Jordan Mailata, future Hall of Famer at left tackle, Lane Johnson, future Hall of Famer at right tackle, and they still drafted Cameron Williams out of Texas, Miles Hinton out of Michigan, traded for Kenyon Green, drafted Drew Kendall. I mean, they drafted 3 offensive linemen and brought in 3 veterans, and they have 2 Hall of Fame offensive tackles in a really good line. So, it's there's an old saying that you get in the draft and in the offseason what you value. And the Niners value defensive linemen, and they got defensive linemen. And the Niners don't value offensive linemen, and they didn't get any offensive linemen until late day 3.
The reason I thought about this topic is because there's been a couple of high-profile retirements today. Frank Ragnow, Ronald Darby retire coincidentally on June 2nd. It kind of feels like they went to their team and said, hey, I don't want to play football anymore. And their team were like, hey, could you just do us a favor and not say anything until June 2nd? Because that would sort of help out our accounting and our salary cap. And so that's sort of what I've been wondering with Trent, since we haven't heard from him, haven't seen him. If something weird is going to happen, I think we would know today. Although I don't know that Trent went to them and said, I don't want to play anymore. I feel like this is the kind of the dance you have to do with Trent every offseason. You have to almost like recruit him like he's 18. Like, hey, why don't you come play football with us? It'll be great. Come on.
Well, I just think also he knows where he's at. He knows that he can call his shots. He can practice when he wants to. He can absolutely expend as much energy as he wants to. And Shanahan will always be in his corner. And the Niners are somewhat desperate. I get the vibe a couple years ago or about a year ago where Trent was like, I'm going to, I was thinking about retirement. And now it's like he didn't say it directly, but it was almost like, I'm going to see how much money I can steal. I mean, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to say anything nefarious. It's like, let me just see how much money I can make in my twilight years. Because he's making north of $20 million every year.
Right. It's like my heart's not really into it, but like my heart doesn't have to be in it for me to make a bunch of money. He has more leverage than Brock. He has more leverage than any football player I can remember. I mean, hey, I don't want to be at training camp. Hey, I don't want to practice. They're like, fine. Will you play left tackle for us, though? Will you just play left tackle for us? Sure, maybe. We'll see how I feel. Brock couldn't do that. No one else could do it. I mean, I guess he's the Barry Bonds of the 49ers. Like, what are your options? What else are you going to do? Just be grateful? Get started at factormeals.com/cone50off and use code cone50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
On one hand, I push back on the people who would be like, he missed X number of games, because and I know that if those games mattered, he probably would have been out there. Yeah, he would have been out there. So I can't get all exercised about he missed X number of games, because Trent Williams is not playing meaningless games. He's not playing meaningless games in August, and he's not playing meaningless games in November, December. He's never again going to play meaningless games. If the Niners, for whatever reason, fall out of the playoff hunt and with their easy schedule, I don't know how they would do that, but if they did, he won't play. From the point they're done, he's done. He's not going to play in any non-meaningful games ever again. That's kind of how I see Trent. But I do think he's going to try to gut it out this year and maybe even next year. I would not be surprised.
He's got a lot more money to make on his contract, to your point.
Yeah.
He's not walking away from that.
No, he's not going to walk away from it, and nor why would you when you can call your shots as far as your workload.
That's why I didn't think he was going to retire. I thought he might say, hey, I don't want to play for your team anymore. But what a chutzpah that would be. I don't know if you know what that word means. What a nerve that would be. After getting the extension last year, like, hey, I know you guys just gave me another extension, but like, you guys aren't that good anymore, and I want to play for the Texans because I like CJ Stroud and D'Amico. So work that out for me. That'd be, I feel like I could see the Niners being like, hey, Trent, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, part of their kind of like, I don't want to say their belief in themselves, but I mean, the fact that Trent is not asking out is part of the reason that, people feel good about the 49ers as a playoff team. If they do, is because they feel like
If Trent believes in him.
Yeah, if Trent believes and he doesn't want out, then they must be, representative enough of a team roster wise for him to want to stick around.
It's true. Shady Luke says those young pass rushers have been good against Trent the past couple years. Yeah, Jared Verse is tough.